Hey guys, it looks like there's going to be a new radar detector coming out from Escort, which is going to be called the Escort Passport X70. Now, this radar detector has not yet been officially announced. There's kind of some information coming out behind the scenes, and I wanted to share a little bit as far as what's now publicly available for you guys. I'm not under NDA to, withhold this information, and I actually spoke with Escort, and they're okay with me sharing what I'm about to share with you. Now, because the product has not yet been officially announced, and there's still time before it gets released, some of the things that I share here may or may not change. So I'm going to share not only information about this detector, but also kind of my confidence level about how realistic this information is. And then we don't know anything yet as far as the actual release date of the detector, but I'm going to share a little bit about kind of some educated guesses of where the price point may land. So anyways, what is this detector? Well, this is the Escort Passport X70. And what is it exactly? Well, this is going to be Escort's new entry-level affordable radar detector. It's essentially the Escort Passport, you can see the picture of it here, without the Bluetooth chip built in. And so it's going to be kind of like the same difference between the Passport Max and the Max 2, where they're fundamentally the same detector. They've got the same features, same performance, same capabilities. The only difference is the Max 2 has a Bluetooth chip built in, whereas the original Max required an Escort Live cable, where the power cable actually had a Bluetooth cable, or a Bluetooth chip in it. So the detector itself is cheaper, but you need a more expensive cable, an optional one, if you want to have the Bluetooth compatibility with your phone. So that's basically what we're looking at here with the X70. It's essentially a Passport without the Bluetooth chip. So it's kind of the same thing as going from a Max 2 to an original Max. Same idea. Now the name, the X70, basically gives us the idea that this is going to be sort of the spiritual successor to the X50, the Escort Passport 8500 X50. And now what the X50 was, it was kind of their, good M4 platform. Gave you a good all-around performance. Not the high-end platform that they'll use on the red line with the M3, but it's more of their M4, which they use in the Passport, the 9500iX, Smart Radar, and a whole bunch of their like core popular radar detectors. So same radar detection there. However, the X70, like the Passport, is going to come with some of the features that really help improve performance, such as RDR. We can see the feature right there, and we're going to have band segmentation available as well, just like the Passport. This is going to be one of the improvements that we can expect over the 8500 X50 that the X70 is bringing us. The X70 will also be giving us the new, improved case for the unit, the buttons, and also the new display with additional information, the OLED screen. You can see if you pair it with Escort Live, you'll get the speed limit display right there. We're going to be able to get red light camera alerts, speed camera alerts when paired with Escort Live as well. It's not built in. You are going to have to pair it with your phone. But basically what you're looking at here is you're going to get, solid all-around radar detection performance. There's no GPS chip that's built in like you get with the Max. There's no Bluetooth chip that's built in like the Max 2 or the Passport. This is more focusing on just radar detection and laser detection fundamentally, and then it has compatibility for Escort Live if you pair it with the cable. So again, it's going to be basically an improved version of the 8500 X50 with same sorts of features, same premise, maybe better display, that kind of stuff, and probably better radar detection performance as well. More comparable again to the Passport, but without the Bluetooth. So that's basically what we're going to be expecting here. Now, as you can see, it is going to be compatible with Escort Live. Escort has actually recently released some updated live cables, and the way the live cables used to work is before they started putting Bluetooth in the detectors, you had to get an Escort Live cable. And this is still true with some detectors that don't even have Bluetooth, like the Red Line or the STIR Plus, the 9500 Ci. You have to actually get an Escort Live module. Now they used to be iPhone or Android only. You can see that they're actually separate here. And if we click on one of them, you'll see that now actually they have available cross-platform live cables. The live cables are now both Android and iPhone compatible. See, iPhone, Android, they're now cross-platform, which is the same thing they're now doing with their radar detectors. The Passport and the Max 2, for example, have Bluetooth built in, and they're compatible with both iPhone and Android. Some of the older detectors, like the Smart Radar, you had to get an iPhone-only version or an Android-only version. So everything now, Escort is bringing cross-platform. So what you could do is, if you wanted to get the X70 and you wanted compatibility with Escort Live, you are going to have to get a Smart a live cable essentially. The live cable costs an extra $100, but if you maybe don't necessarily need those features, you can save a little bit of money from the Passport, get the X70, and again, you'll be saving some cash. So pretty cool. Uh, Now, about price point, what can we expect? Well, again, this product hasn't yet been announced, but let's kind of take a look at the price point of the X50 and the Passport, and it's probably going to be somewhere in that ballpark, right? So what we're looking at, if you look at the retail pricing for the two, we've got the Passport, which is $350 according to Escort, and then we've got the 8500 X50 Black here, which is $300. So 350, 300. And I'm guessing if they phase out the 8500 X50 and essentially replace it with the X70, it's probably going to be around the $300 mark. That kind of makes sense, right? And again, it's $50 cheaper than what we've got with the Passport, which, if we take a look here at these two detectors, all right, that's kind of annoying at pop-up. I'll quit that. The Max 2 and the Max, you can see they're the same detector, and the only difference is the Max 2 actually has Bluetooth built in, and we have a $50 difference there. So if we take the same thought process and apply it to the Passport over here on the right, that'll drop us down to $300, which would make sense, looking at what we've got here with the X50. So my guess is that it's going to be about a $300 price point. Now, taking a look at excuse me, what Amazon has currently, you can see the Passport, it retails for $350. They're currently selling it for $300. Again, these detectors have been out for a little while. They're not brand new releases, so they've been out, they've been making sales, and prices start to drop after a little while. So anyways, you can see the Passport's available for $300. If we go take a look at where the 8500 X50 Blacks are selling for, you can see that if you want the blue or the red screen, depending on which one you want, they're claiming it retails for $340, which is kind of interesting considering Escort says it retails for $300, and this may have changed recently because the X70 is going to be coming out. But you can see that, oh, not the Passport one, they're actually selling it for anywhere from $240 to $250. So we're looking at about a $50 to $60, dip in price if you go on Amazon or something and you buy it this way. So anyways, 8500 X50, you can get them now for $240 to $250. The Passport you can now buy for about $300. And so assuming this guy comes out, the X70 retailing at $300, again, that's just kind of my guess as far as what the price is going to be retail, and then the prices that we can buy them for may turn out to be a little bit less just due to internet discounts and all. Okay, cool. So let's, now that we're familiar with the detector itself, let's talk a little bit as far as kind of where this information came from and the reliability of this information. So basically what we're looking at is when a product like this, any sort of radio, radar type product, anything that has electronics, is going to be sold in the US, it has to actually undergo FCC certification to make sure that it's not emitting any frequencies that would cause harmful interference to other products like your watches, microwave, computers, TVs, whatever, right? They want to make sure it plays well with others. So it has to actually undergo FCC certification. If you take a look at the manual, you'll see that it says this device complies with Part 15 of the FCC rules, subject to blah, 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 may not cause harmful interference, must accept. So you got that FCC stamp that's on a lot of different products. And this product actually was undergoing FCC certification, and just about a day or two ago, the information was finally made public. The testing was done a little while ago, and it had to go undergo all the FCC certification. So here's the stamp and all the technical stuff behind the scenes that most people probably don't care about. But one of the cool things about this is once this is actually done and it passes, is they'll actually release some information such as the manual, which is what we were just looking at, internal photos, the internals of the device. You've got the external photos of what it looks like from the outside, all that kind of stuff. So if you wanted to see the guts, for example, this is all now public information. And they have to take it apart, just take a look at how it works here. And then it's all published here up on the FCC's website. And this is where the information is actually coming from. So again, like I said, this is not yet any sort of announcement from Escort. There are actually some changes that could be made. For example, if you take a look at the original Passport Max, when it was undergoing FCC certification, it actually had band segmentation like this as a feature. and RDR. However, actually I'm not sure about RDR, I'd have to double check, but I know it definitely had band segmentation. When the product was finally released to the public, they removed band segmentation as an available feature, and that was actually never released to the public. And so the information that we saw from the FCC didn't turn out to be completely, totally accurate. And so I want to bring that up just to let you know that what we're seeing here is not anything that's set in stone. This is kind of something that they packaged, put together as best as they could, what they anticipate actually releasing, and then getting it out to get tested. Some things may or may not change to the final release, but this is definitely, something we can be expecting to come forth. Now, I spoke with Escort and I asked them, hey, is it okay for me to share this information? And they said, yeah, it's okay. You can share anything that's listed like this. This being released from the FCC. It's public information at this point. They're not going to be, announcing anything until they officially announce it, right? They can't talk about upcoming products officially, but anything that's being shared from the FCC like this, they are okay with people knowing. It's at this point just public information. So, anyways, one of the things we were able to find, just kind of interesting, if you take a look. This is kind of something we were able to see. You can see originally there was some information and they were asking, hey, there's this new product coming, but we want to keep a lot of this stuff confidential, right? So some of the things like the description of the product, the schematics, they wanted to keep the manual, internal and external photos, things that would give away what the product is. They wanted to keep it confidential for 45 days, which is why if you go take a look at the release dates, you'll see some are date submitted here, but it was made available some 3/26, some 5/10, so a 45-day difference, right? So before that time, we were just taking a look at the FCC ID to see what it is similar to, and it turns out this is actually very similar to the Escort Passport. Surprise, surprise, right? QKL is the code for Escort's products. M4, it's got the M4 horn, and then PP, which seems very similar to Passport. Now, curiously, if we go take a look at the Passport itself, here's some information about the Passport. The FCC ID is actually almost identical. It's also QKL, because it's Escort. It's the M4 platform, and it ends in BT, right? So basically, the what turned out to be the X70 is the exact same thing, except instead of ending in BT, they changed it to PP. So it's kind of like the Passport, but without Bluetooth, right? Let's see, QKL M4BT. The X70 is QKL M4PP. So basically no Bluetooth, but still essentially the Passport. So it makes sense now that we're actually seeing, the manual, pictures of the product itself, all this information. Yeah, it's essentially the Passport without Bluetooth. And if you want some of the features that would require your phone's GPS, like this right here, the speed limit, because the detector has no GPS built in, it requires your phone's GPS to actually know where it is, to access the database of what the speed limits are in the area, and also know how fast you're driving, right here. That would require an optional smart cord live cable. So again, you're going to need a Escort Live and the live cable for this to work. So, like I said earlier, it's effectively a Passport without Bluetooth. So, cool, that's basically all the information that I've got so far regarding this new X70. When it would be officially released and announced, I don't know. What its actual price point is going to be, I don't know. If this information is set in stone, not necessarily, but I do think that it is going to be pretty accurate as far as what we can expect and anticipate, given that it's, again, effectively a Passport without Bluetooth, right? That seems to be what this guy is. Does it make sense to buy it? Well, I think it's going to be a really good kind of, good performing, more of an entry-level, affordable option for Escort. It's effectively what the 8500 X50 Black was, right? You don't get the GPS, you don't get the Bluetooth, but you do get compatibility with the Escort Live. So it's going to be that same detector, but with band segmentation, RDR, the new screen, so a lot of the cool, kind of more modern performance bumping features. So pretty cool there. If you do want Bluetooth support, while you can oftentimes get the live cable packaged with your radar detector, and sometimes they'll even give it to you at a discount. You don't have to pay, $100 for the cable. If you do need the features, it may make more sense to go for the Passport, just because it's built into the detector. And if you want to hardwire your radar detector, you don't need like a coiled live cable and a hardwired live cable. You just power it in with a really cheap power cable, and it makes it easier to move between vehicles. It's less stuff externally. It's more packaged and integrated, which can be really nice. And I think it's a little bit nicer having it in the detector as well. But if you know that you're not going to be needing If you like the idea of the Passport, but you don't necessarily need some of the GPS features like the speed limit display, the red light camera alerts, and the speed camera alerts, you don't necessarily need reporting to and from the cloud. You just want a, more affordable, well-performing radar detector. This guy looks to be, a good choice. So maybe something to look forward to and expect if you're in the market for something like a Passport, but you want something a little bit less expensive and you don't necessarily want the Bluetooth features. You just want some a little bit simpler and a little bit more basic and a little bit more affordable. The X70 looks like it's going to fit the bill. So just kind of something cool to expect and anticipate coming in down the line from Escort. So yeah, there you go. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.